Have you ever looked back on a moment and realized someone was completely into you, but you had no idea at the time? Maybe it was the way she laughed at everything you said, or how she always seemed to be around whenever you showed up somewhere. And then weeks or months later, it hit you like a freight train. She was interested, really interested. But by then, the moment had passed. This happens to more people than you'd think. According to researchers who study human interaction and attraction, most of us walk right past opportunities for genuine connection because we simply don't recognize the signals being sent our way. And when it comes to romantic interest, the signs can be incredibly subtle, especially from women who've been conditioned their entire lives not to appear too eager or too forward. Today, I want to walk you through the real research-backed behaviors that reveal when someone is genuinely interested in getting closer to you, not the Hollywood version where someone dramatically confesses their feelings in the rain. The actual everyday signals that happen in coffee shops, at work, during group hangouts, and in text conversations. These are patterns rooted in human psychology, and once you understand them, you'll start noticing things you've been blind to your entire life. Let me start with something that might surprise you. When someone is attracted to you and wants to build something deeper, they don't usually change what they say, they change how they exist around you. Their entire presence shifts in ways that are small but incredibly consistent. It's not about grand gestures or obvious flirting. It's about proximity, attention, and a kind of focus that feels different from how they interact with everyone else. Think about someone in your life right now who lights up when you enter a room. Not in an over-the-top way, but in a subtle shift of energy. Maybe their posture changes. Maybe they become more animated. Maybe they just seem more present. That shift is one of the first clues, and it's one that most people completely overlook because they're too busy looking for something more dramatic. One of the most telling signs is the way someone finds reasons to be near you. This isn't about following you around or being clingy. It's more strategic than that. Let's say you're part of a friend group that meets up regularly. Notice if there's someone who always ends up sitting next to you, even when there are other open seats, or someone who happens to arrive right when you do, or leaves right when you leave. These aren't accidents. They're micro decisions made dozens of times, all pointing in the same direction. I remember a friend telling me about a woman he used to work with. They were part of a larger team, and every morning when he'd grab coffee from the break room, she'd somehow be there too. He thought it was just coincidence. Weeks went by. Then one day, another coworker joked about how she'd started drinking 3 cups of coffee a day ever since he joined the team. That's when it clicked. She wasn't there for the coffee. She was there for him. This kind of thing happens all the time, and it's not manipulative or calculated in a negative way. It's just human. When we're drawn to someone, we subconsciously create opportunities to be in their orbit. And if you start paying attention, you'll notice it everywhere. Another major indicator is the way someone communicates with you compared to how they communicate with others. This goes beyond just texting more often or responding faster, though those are part of it. It's about the quality and depth of the conversation. When someone is interested in you on a deeper level, they stop keeping things surface level. They ask questions that actually matter. They remember details you mentioned weeks ago. They bring up topics they know you care about, even if they're not personally invested in those topics themselves. Let's talk about memory for a second. We remember what we care about. If someone consistently recalls small things you've said, things that weren't particularly significant or memorable, that's a huge sign. It means they're paying attention in a way that goes beyond casual friendship. Their brain is cataloging information about you because, on some level, they're building a file. They want to know you, really know you. There's also something that happens with vulnerability. When someone feels safe with you and wants to deepen the connection, they start sharing things they don't share with just anyone. This could be fears, past experiences, embarrassing stories, or dreams they're afraid to say out loud. Vulnerability is the currency of intimacy. It's how we signal trust. And when someone begins offering you pieces of themselves, they usually keep private. They're essentially saying, I want you closer. I once knew someone who was incredibly private. She could be in a group of friends for hours and never reveal anything truly personal. But there was one person she'd talk to differently. With him, she'd open up about her family, her insecurities, the things that kept her up at night. Everyone else got the edited version of her. He got the unfiltered truth. That wasn't random. She'd chosen him as someone worth being vulnerable with, and that choice carried a weight she didn't put into words. Now, let's talk about something that happens on an almost instinctive level: mirroring. When two people are connected or trying to connect, they start to subconsciously mimic each other's behavior. This isn't something people do on purpose. It just happens. If you lean back, they lean back. If you speak more quietly, their volume drops. If you use certain phrases or gestures, those start appearing in their communication too. Scientists have studied this for years, and the findings are fascinating. Mirroring creates rapport. It signals that two people are on the same wavelength, literally syncing up their behavior without even realizing it. And the person who's doing more of the mirroring is usually the one who's more interested. Their brain is trying to align with yours to create harmony and connection through movement and speech. Pay attention to this the next time you're having a conversation with someone. Do they pick up their drink right after you do? Do they shift their posture to match yours? Do they start using words you use frequently? If the answer is yes, there's a good chance they're tuning into you on a level that goes deeper than friendly conversation. Then there's touch. Not inappropriate or aggressive touch, but the kind of contact that feels natural and almost accidental. A hand on your arm when they're laughing. A shoulder bump when you're walking side by side. Sitting close enough that your knees touch under a table and not moving away. These are all forms of nonverbal communication, and they're incredibly powerful. Human beings are wired to respond to touch. It releases oxytocin, a hormone that builds trust and emotional bonding. When someone initiates physical contact with you, even in small, seemingly insignificant ways, they're testing the waters. They're seeing how you respond, whether you pull away or lean in, and your reaction tells them everything they need to know about whether it's safe to get closer. Here's where a lot of people mess up. When someone initiates that kind of contact, freezing or ignoring it sends a message of disinterest, even if that's not what you intend. If you want to reciprocate, you have to participate. A light touch back, a smile, anything that signals you're comfortable and open. Otherwise, they'll assume you're not interested and pull back entirely. There's also a language shift that happens when someone starts seeing you as part of their future. It's subtle, but once you know what to listen for, it's unmistakable. They stop talking about their plans in purely individual terms and start using inclusive language. Instead of saying, I'm thinking about going to that new place downtown, they'll say, we should check out that new place downtown. Instead of I want to travel more, it becomes we should take a trip sometime. This isn't just casual conversation. It's their brain beginning to construct a shared narrative. They're imagining experiences with you in them, and that imagination is leaking into their words. Psychologists have found that people who use collective language early in a relationship, even before it's officially a relationship, tend to form stronger, longer-lasting bonds. It's a sign of investment. They're not just thinking about the present. They're thinking ahead, and you're in that picture. One of the most interesting signs, and one that's backed by biology, is the way someone's voice changes when they're talking to you. This isn't something people can fake or control. When we're attracted to someone, our vocal cords actually respond. Research shows that people, especially women, tend to lower the pitch of their voice and speak more softly when talking to someone they're drawn to. The tone becomes warmer, more intimate, almost like they're trying to create a private bubble, even in a crowded room. If you've ever noticed that someone talks to you differently than they talk to others, not in terms of what they say, but how they say it, that's not in your head. Their body is responding to your presence in a way that's automatic and deeply rooted in human biology. It's one of the most honest signals there is because it's nearly impossible to control consciously. Let me bring all of this together. When someone is genuinely interested in you and wants something deeper, they won't usually announce it outright. Instead, they'll show you through patterns, consistent patterns. They'll find ways to be near you. They'll remember the small things. They'll share parts of themselves they keep hidden from others. They'll mirror your behavior. They'll include you in their future. Their voice will change. Their touch will linger. None of these things mean much on their own. People are affectionate. People are friendly. People make conversation. But when you see multiple signals happening at the same time, repeatedly, with the same person, that's not coincidence. That's intention, that's interest, and most importantly, that's an invitation. The tragedy isn't that these signs are difficult to see. It's that most of us were never taught to look for them. We go through life missing connections that were right in front of us, wondering why things never seemed to work out, when in reality, someone was trying to tell us something the whole time. We just didn't speak the language. So here's what I want you to do. Start paying attention, not in a paranoid or obsessive way, but with genuine awareness. Notice how people act around you. Notice the details. Notice the shifts. And if you start seeing these patterns with someone, don't ignore them. Don't wait until the moment passes and you're left wondering what could have been. Human connection is built on communication, and so much of that communication happens without words. Learning to read the unspoken is one of the most valuable skills you can develop, not just for romance, but for every relationship in your life. Because when you truly understand how people show care, interest, and affection, you stop missing the moments that matter most. You start showing up fully. You start responding. And that changes everything.